A train wrapped to spin fire. The NFT analyzer, diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From mint coins to tokens, he's got all the intel. Web3 is a tree to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. While stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures flow. Web3 wonder.
All right, Mega GMs, guys, welcome to the Swarm Report. It's Tuesday. Is it Wednesday? Is it Tuesday? What is today? Hang on. It's Tuesday. All right. I think we got it. It's a little, this space is so crazy how fast it moves and how many things come at you. And big old hack yesterday kind of shook up the space. Do you guys see that, by the way? By the way, we got SPIRA on the show today. I think one of the biggest virtuals launches we've had this summer. It's still summer. It is. I know that at least. But hey, welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us, Hudah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Great to be here.
Glad you made it. We chatted last week. I really like what you guys are working on. It fits right into this, like, you know, I think the defining thing of virtual season 3 here, which is like products that really they have an audience that is us, but also it's outside of our echo chamber too. I think it's got like some real utility. I mean, for everybody. And I mean it when you guys start hearing about what they're building, you're going to see it's an everybody product, which makes it super, super interesting. Cutie, don't do that to me, dude, because for a second I believe you. I do. Good to see you, though. Kat's, good to see you too, man. Guys, live in all the usual spots, Abstract, X, YouTube, almost Pump Fun. I axed that one last minute here. Wherever you're watching, hit the like on the show. But come over to the YouTube side over here, guys. Subscribe over here. You're going to catch the replays. We have such great people on the show. I mean, every day at this point. And, of course, today, keeping that tradition running here. So awesome stuff. Do you guys want to do a quick intro? Just quickly who you are, and then we'll get into what you guys are building.
Sure. Jimmy Castles. So I started Spiralytics.com about 12 years ago. It's a digital marketing agency in Southeast Asia, servicing clients globally. And how did I get here? So about a year ago, you know, as the LLMs got better, we started automating a lot of what we do there. And when I bumped into the Eden team, they introduced me to the virtuals world and convinced me that a lot of the workflows that I'm building need to be on virtuals. So here we are in Web3, although I have done a bit of Web3 marketing over the years. A lot of companies and projects come to us, but this project is really exciting, and that's a little backgrounder.
Dude, yeah, I'm going to have a dozen questions for you just on even background and how it ties into going forward here. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm sorry. Eden, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, so thanks for having us, Hudah. So I run Eden. It's a venture builder and an investment firm. So our focus really is into direct-to-consumer products and services. So that's SaaS, that's games, that's e-commerce. Been around for a while, Web2 days, and now focused fully into Web3 since late 2017. I've known Jimmy for a while. He used to be the marketing head of one of the largest e-commerce marketplaces in Southeast Asia. Probably the best performance marketer in our part of town. And I knew when he was shifting his focus for Spiralytics from a services business to an agent business, that virtuals would be a very good entry point for him to service the Web3 market.
I dig it. I'm kind of curious how maybe Jimmy's experience with virtuals and just like kind of what's bubbling up here in the crypto AI sector. Actually, maybe I'll even start there because I saw a report Actually, let me put this on the screen. Nature AC had put out a tweet yesterday just showing the acceleration of crypto and AI. So it'll take me a quick second to get up there. But, like, Jimmy, how dialed into the crypto AI thing were you before the virtuals thing came to be?
Hardly. I mean, I spend a lot of time on more of the Web2 startups that are coming out in AI and how the LLMs are evolving, and all of the communication protocols, A to A, all that kind of stuff is very interesting to me. But the crypto side, I'm ramping fast.
Yeah, are you surprised by what you're seeing over here? It's crazy space. Yeah, but like has any of it shocked you? Like, oh my goodness, it's I don't know, either this far along or not as far along as you thought, but like clearly something told you got to be building over here.
Yeah, I mean,
that's funny because he's like, everyone's wearing an animal cartoon profile picture and doesn't use their real names.
Well,
right off the bat, it's a big shift, right?
Well, yeah, now I have a goal of getting Jimmy like an NFT PFP or something. We'll work on that.
Anyway, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, of course, if you drop into the all-in pod and the whole David Sachs becoming the crypto czar and AI together, that's his thrust, his title. So I get updated on that end. But then seeing a meeting like this, it's incredible. Incredible. This is awesome.
It's just more of that, like, not evidence, I guess, that you're in the right place. When you see stuff like this, you're like, yeah, I'm on the right track. This is the right thing. So I guess to that end, you're coming here, you're building SPIRA. That again, when I read the product description, I'm like, oh yeah, like we're just getting a different kind of product here, and it's like a much more matured product, and it's something with a guy like you who has this history of being able to build things and execute, and has clients already. So. Again, this season 3 of virtuals really, really excites me. Tell us what SPIRA is, and we'll get into how it came to be through what you do already.
Right. Yeah. And so I have an agency, and in a digital marketing agency, if you're not always evolving, you're basically dead. You're going to be selling something that's stale within 12 months, and the latest evolution of that is agents, right? And if our process is not being automated and 10x'd at wherever we can, we're soon going to be beat by someone that is 10x'ing their team and being able to do a whole lot more. And in the process of this, we have a playbook, and we've been really strong at over the years, documenting what we do. Every time we have a victory, put it into the playbook, and just building a culture of always evolving that process. And when someone new comes into the team, they ramp on that playbook, very well-defined playbook. Well, guess what a playbook is? It's an agent, right? It's the instruction set for what an agent would do and how an agent would make decisions and the inputs and outputs and what good looks like. And so we started with the basics, just, ins and outs, what LLMs to use, what workflow engines to use, and started building a tool set that helps our team get their automate the repetitive stuff, but then also allow them to do so much more than what they could do normally. And so that's kind of when I bumped into the Eden team, virtuals is mostly Web3 focused at this point. And so, we were looking at what I've built versus what could be adapted there. But we kind of decided let's keep a good blend of Web2 and Web3 workflows and see where it goes. As we release these to the wild, how are people using them? How is the butler accessing it? What kind of questions are posed? What kind of answers? And we're going to evolve it very quickly once it's out there. But that's kind of how the whole thing came about.
It's really neat. Okay, I was going to ask this later, but I think it's perfect now. Okay, as you're incorporating AI into your business, And you said it, you actually said it already, but it's not necessarily to like replace people. It's to make them better, and it's to make you guys better, right? Make you more efficient at your jobs and just buff every member of your team. Do you look at it like that too? How AI is going to be folded into, I don't know, our day to day? Because, you know, there's these big scary stories out there, and I say them all the time too, like jobs are going to get replaced here. But you're that perfect example of it's just going to make you more efficient, better. In theory, do more, right?
Yeah, the way I look at it is if you're running a script, you know, let's say customer service, and the script is the same every single time, and there's just, you know, 20 different ways to execute the script, that's what goes first, right? That's like, yes, the 100% of that job is going to disappear. Well, maybe 99.9 for the few people that actually demand to talk to a human, right? In digital marketing, every time you look at a client or a product or a target market, something's a little different. You know, every business should have a unique selling proposition. It's, you know, something that differentiates you from the competition. And when you go to look at that particular company, you have to, you know, you're approaching a problem for the first time, and agents tend to fail when that happens. You know, that they don't get the angle right, they don't get the intent right. At this point, you know, as things get better and better, and we get closer to, you know, AGI and super intelligence, that's where stuff gets interesting. But kind of I guess the strategy layer, you know, if there's 50 things that we could do to launch a Google Ads campaign, knowing which 3 are going to get the most impact, that's where a person kind of, you know, really can come up with a creative angle to get started. But the mechanics, you know, the things that, you know, the keyword research, the deciding what to go after, how to do the ad copy, setting it up, right? All the pieces of tracking conversions, like all of that mechanics needs to kind of go away, right? But yeah, a good strategist on the top is what right now is what delivers the best result. And
I like how you put it though, that the scripted stuff goes away. And man, there's a lot. I come from the, you know, just working in corporate, you know, whatever, and there's a lot of that does go bye. But again, something like this that's tailored towards your customer, and every product is different. You have to, you know, really dial it in for them. It's just a tool that makes you better at this stuff. It's going to be an interesting few years coming up here. What are the products here that you're launching? Because I know, at least from when we talked before and what you have in your description on virtuals, starting with a few products and then ultimately looking to do something even much bigger. It's really impressive. Where are you guys starting?
Right. Yeah. So well, I guess the big picture, Spiralytics, I mean, we do online advertising, every platform. We do SEO, local SEO, LLM SEO. They call it, everyone trying to coin some term for that right now.
There isn't one yet.
GEO, search everywhere optimization.
Huh.
You know, those G means generative engine optimization. So it's and then if you ask the pros, they're like, it's just SEO. But you know, email marketing, social, and making websites perform better, which we call conversion rate optimization. So we help companies do all that. So if you look back, every one of those has 10 main processes and then a bunch of little things that you have to do in terms of creative and how you execute. And so we step back and we kind of picked a few of the tools that we're using that we think would adapt pretty well. And the first one, so I mentioned that the GEO, SEO, LLM visibility is something that's really hot right now. If you looked at the uptake of ChatGPT in 2025, it's been ridiculous. The number of users, the growth, and we're seeing the same thing on our side. You know, a lot of the leads that come into our website, they discovered us in ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, and then they took our brand. Either they clicked through if there was a link, or they found our Googled us and came in through that way. And so the old way of analytics, where every visit to a website, you exactly know where they came from, it's being masked significantly right now. So maybe 1 out of 3 has discovered us on ChatGPT and then came through. When I look at our analytics and tracking, I then have to go ask them. I was like, okay, how did you find us? And I feel like I'm going back to the beginning, and then I see a Google lead that came in and they say, oh yeah, I asked Grok what's the best digital agency in Southeast Asia, and I found you guys.
Huh.
Like,
You
okay.
are finding more and more though, people are discovering through these agents and through these LLMs, and it's like super noticeable. Wow. I know that, like I use ChatGPT, I mean, every day at this point, and it's been for a while, but I use it that way now. It's my web search. Ever since they turned on months back, like live web search kind of capabilities, I use it as my search engine. I'm curious if you guys too, and also in the chat, if you guys started doing that, but like, that's the way this is all moving forward, isn't it? So you have to optimize.
Yeah. And AI mode just came out. It's kind of hidden right now, just because Google hasn't figured out how to properly monetize that yet. So, if you do a Google search in the menu that nobody uses on the top left, there's that little button for AI mode.
Right.
If you've ever tried that, it's awesome. Like I'm addicted to that. And basically what it's doing is if someone searches for something, it's coming up with 10 or 15 variations for what they're really searching for. And then it scrapes itself, basically pulls out of its own index, maybe 100 pages that are most relevant to all of that. That's what these numbers are right now as you're doing it. And then it's assembling the answer from all of the, 100 different pages all at once. And if you want a comprehensive view of a particular topic, this is a really awesome way to get your answer.
Dude, I never used that yet. That's the first time I tried it. It's wicked fast. I'll have to poke around in that more. I've seen it there. I just like, I don't know why I didn't click it. I maybe assumed it was already kind of running there, but interesting. Yeah. That's how you learned your video editing and the tools to use. Yeah, dude, interesting. It's the go-to now, using these again, the agents, Super Grok is awesome. Yep. Not surprised. A quick question too. So you mentioned again where you're starting. I think you mentioned the one product, like the SEO optimization. When you pick those initial products, were they just like the easiest to implement here, like agentically, or are they just the most impactful? And you're like, well, if we're going to start somewhere, it has to be that.
So this tool. Let me get back to the tool. So we are. If you could leave it on that screen for a second, it'll explain things a little bit. So what my clients ask me all the time is, how do we appear in Grok? How do we appear in ChatGPT? And because there's so many, ChatGPT is by far the market leader, but a lot of people use Grok. A lot of people use Gemini because it comes free. It comes with your Google Workspace. A lot of people use Perplexity. Claude is incredible at writing and a lot of other things. So a lot of people start there. So you have to check all of them, right? What we used to do, we really just check Google, and then Bing from Microsoft follows. That was kind of the general rule. If you can tune yourself for Google, Bing will be pretty close. Don't worry about it. Now we have 5, maybe 6 if it's Mistral in France. For what Europe might use. But so to answer that question, how does my brand appear? So we're providing a tool that you put in your industry. For me, it would be digital marketing agency, say, and then maybe Southeast Asia. If you type that in, what are the top 10 digital marketing agencies in Southeast Asia? Do you appear there? That's the basic question. And then 2, that little, you can see that section on the right. Those are sources that AI mode prioritized to help it figure out what to write here under that section for what is virtuals. And so a good SEO would go right to those sources and figure out exactly how to be included there, because AI mode used those sources to make its decision. And so this is one of the workflows that we do to help our clients, show up better, but anyone can do it. If when you're starting a project by yourself and you're, or a product, you can do this workflow, you can look at those, you can go through it really quickly. And then if you've seen those sites, you know the people behind them, reach out. Hey, can I be on that page? What does it take to be on that page? I think I'm at, here's my angle and why you should include me there. Just a little bit of manual outreach to get it going, right? And that's what this product does. And then the part two of it, whatever your product is named, the brand. So for us, Spiralytics, it does kind of like, what is the sentiment, overall sentiment? These engines are really good at crawling the internet and kind of understanding all the good things that are said, all the bad things, and being able to quickly say, oh, there's very good sentiment about your agency, or there's a lot of negative sentiment out there, and it can flesh out some of the things that are being said. And if it's negative, you want to go address it if possible. And good, it's good to know what good people are saying about you. So at the basic level, that's what we're doing. In the agency side, we track this over time. And we've got tools to see if visibility is going up, visibility is going down, how different. Right now, so you asked how easy it is to build this. It's not easy because we're hitting all, we're taking this message, we're hitting all 5 of the LLMs, we're compiling all the data back together. And I guess one of the challenges is how to work within the virtuals framework to present that answer back. And that's something that's been evolving in the last couple of weeks here. But yeah, and working with the APIs, they're all different. All of these systems change pretty quick. So it's kind of a chaotic dev type environment. But the tool is something that we built it because there's been a lot of demand for it. And the only way you can get this data now are very expensive enterprise tools. And they're all brand new. They all started making these things like a couple months ago. So it's kind of like a urgency. It's new. We need it anyway to help get better at what we do. Like a lot of people are curious how they appear. How do you know how you appear? And so that's the problem we're solving with this particular agent.
It's interesting because when I look up even info about NFTs and I use ChatGPT and it's for me really cool because when I search CryptoSlam always comes up, and I think that's part because there's not a ton of like NFT analytics platforms out there. But I also got to wonder if there's other things that go into making it always come up. I've always been curious about that. Okay, so your product now, it's kind of what you've already been doing, and now you're going to deliver it agentically. Does that sound right?
Exactly.
Really cool. Really
So
cool.
Make it generic. Try to anticipate every way that someone would query, would ask a question, and then react quickly once it hits the ground this week. Basically.
But it's not just going to bring leads into you. I wonder if it does that too, but it's actually going to give feedback and answers, and it's providing a service. Like I could actually go and use the SPIRA agent, it sounds like, and figure out how to finally market myself and what I'm doing.
So this isn't for us, and it's not for lead gen. It's for the user. Let's say you have a new project launching, and you want to keep track of everyone else that has similar things, whether you're a business, whether you're a project, token, whatever, NFT, whatever niche you're going after. Is there something similar? How are they showing up in the LLMs? And then what are they doing? Like why are they showing up there? What could I do to also show up there? And understanding that is the workflow.
Man, is one of the reasons for doing this also, on virtuals, bringing this to Web3, because we got so many new builders. I mean, so we got plenty of builders who have been around and are, coming to Web3 too. But do you notice like a problem that's specific to Web3? All these people building products and nobody has heard about them out in, the Web2 world, because maybe people here aren't as experienced with marketing what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, for Web3, I mean, there's a lot of thrust with KOLs and community building. In Web2, there's a similar segment, influencer marketing, and, you know, social media marketing. The whole point of social is to build a community. Just depends where it is, right? But the same ideas are there. For the KOLs and influencers, what's their audience? Is it overlap with people that would care about what I'm doing? Same thing with community building. People join a community because it's either educational or entertaining, right? And so there's a lot of overlap, believe it or not. Just the tools are a bit different. Ads are different because Google and Facebook and Meta are restrictive with how they allow you to advertise crypto. And so, you know, there's a lot of Web3 platforms and methods that have popped up. So that's the main difference there. You know, it's aside from X and Telegram being platforms for community building. So, you know, when I got to talking to Eden and, you know, kind of explain these overlaps, you know, we're a bit hybrid at the point. We're building things that Web3 will definitely care about, but it's rooted in Web2 and 10 years of experience doing this for all different types of companies, big, small, different industries, tech, traditional, e-commerce, etc.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting too. So you have all these customers already, right? Like I think I saw on the site 500 plus clients you've had over the years here, correct?
Exactly.
As you onboard new customers, do you start directing them to the agent? And also I think you're working on ACP integration. So do you start directing them there into the butler and they start accessing your services through that?
Today, our team uses the agents to do their job. The clients, the only portal they have in is to see the results of our work. You know, is traffic and conversion going up for the channels that we're working on? In the future, I mean, if they were to use our agents, they would be doing the work themselves in a way. We have not launched that. It's not on our site. There is a plan to start releasing these in the wild, like on our site. But it will be virtuals first. And that's I haven't figured out yet how to do it on my site, but the LLM visibility one might be the first test there, and I'll have to figure out how it all is going to work. But I'm also, you know, you mentioned the butler. I mean, what's really interesting to us is, you know, how the clusters are going to evolve. Right now, Virtuals has 2 clusters, and they've got a long list of plans for different clusters to build out. There is one called Marketing Agent C, you know, Agent-CY, that we think will have a ton of overlap with what we're doing. And those types of questions get really interesting because they're built to have an agent request an agent in that particular cluster. And that brings out, like, well, how's an agent going to ask for marketing work? How's an agent, you know, and it leads to very deep discussions about things like Manus. If you've ever used Manus, that it's called, or GenSpark is the other one, where it's a super agent where it creates, you know, you tell it to do anything, it'll figure out what it thinks you need. Like, let me build a presentation to pitch Spiralytics to a accounting firm or something. It'll try to figure out every component of that. And then it has a tool set, maybe 30 integrations, where it goes out, you know, what is a slide? What is a presentation? How do I sell? What, you know, and it'll go back and try to figure out all these things and build this presentation out for you. And while it's doing that, it's deciding whether it can use its tool set or it needs to build new software in order to get something done. And the future and what Virtuals is building, you have to think through these scenarios and, you know, anticipate a bit. But then once requests start coming in, we're going to see some weird stuff. and trying to figure out how to react to, is Manus going to ask for very low level things, like very simple integrations that it might not have access to? Or is it going to offload as much as it can because it did some sort of math calculation to understand that it would take an hour and $20 worth of tokens to build this thing, but I could go over and use this thing for 5 tokens over on this other agent that's already built it out. It's like, we're talking teams are starting to anticipate these types of workflows, and I want to be there when that environment evolves.
I'm glad you said that.
Really fascinating.
It is. Like, I'm here for the weird stuff, and I think most of the people tuning in too, like, we're all like ACP sounds magic, and and it's going to be, and a lot of us are like, we're sold on that idea of all these agents autonomously, like, just figuring out how to live, and then who they can work with, and then the how, and then what it is they're going to do. And I can't wait till we get there. But like, the thing that excites me is hearing somebody like you who's excited to see that too, because we need guys like you that are helping build that thing out. It's not there yet, right? But we all know it's coming, and it doesn't happen without people like what Virtuals is doing, and Jimmy, what you're building here. So I was just excited to hear you say you're interested in that, and it excites you too. It's gonna get fun.
It's the future. It's the future, for sure.
How far off do you think that is? Where they're truly autonomously doing that thing?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know. It's moving very fast. Let's just put it that way. The big guys are already thinking about it. Virtuals is ahead of the game, but it's on everybody's minds, right? This is the year of the agent. Everyone's building agents. There's trillions of dollars in VC funding pouring into this ecosystem, and it's moving so much faster than anyone thought. So really fascinating.
Well, Eden, do you have any thoughts there too? Because that's that behind the scenes, kind of insights I don't think we get often. But like, if we don't see progress on ACP right here, right now, sometimes we're thinking, oh, maybe it's not happening. Maybe the thing we thought was coming isn't. But hearing again that is like front of mind for, all these builders out there, like how much brain power are people putting towards it and resources? Like, that really is happening, isn't it?
I think the Virtuals team looks at ACP Butler, their launchpad, from a very straightforward perspective. It's just content and distribution. Every agent that launches on the Virtuals launchpad is content. It's content that can deliver service autonomously, agentically. It's content that creates a network, because agents can, through ACP as a protocol, can organize, work together to deliver a solution for the end user. And then on the distribution end, I know that they have a multi-channel perspective, right? I think you can now query Butler through Twitter or through X. There are several other channels, from my knowledge, in the works. And ultimately, I believe their goal is to abstract everything away for the user, so that no one is consciously thinking of, is this Web3? At the end of the day, it's a service with a proprietary set of agents that only they have because of ACP, the Virtuals token, Butler, the launchpad, and this entire ecosystem that they're building. So it's a very long-term goal. Brick by brick, they're building towards really the network and the vision that the founders and the team are executing towards. What I like is they're not acting reflexively, because when you're in Web3, your token price goes down, you tend to react a certain way, behave a certain way, directionally move a certain way. When the token price pumps, you tend to get distracted as well. So I think what's interesting is it's a team that executes their roadmap brick by brick, and I'm quite confident that they'll get to where they're going.
Yeah, dude, they're an easy team to bet on for that reason. Like, they're good at being reactive with certain things, and I've always liked that about them, right? They kind of tweak on the fly, but they don't really pivot and change on the fly, which unless they need to, unless they know what they're doing is not the right path. I've got a lot of faith in that team right there. So
Yeah, they're responsive to the community. You're correct. They're responsive to the community, but the long-term vision and the milestones that they've set for themselves have been very, very consistent and unwavering.
exactly that. Really cool, man. Jimmy, so you guys launch here in 24 hours, basically. I'm excited for the launch. I'm going, like, personally pretty heavy with the points there. What does the product look like, on launch day or shortly, shortly after? How are people going to interact with Spira? And then I know you have, like we talked already about LLM visibility, the content outreach I want to hear more about, and also the web page catalyst, just optimizing here. But yeah, what does it look like when you do launch?
Yeah, so we're integrated with the Butler. So only the clusters integrate in a way that agents can talk to agents. So everything will be queried through the Butler by a person. The other two agents. So the way the architecture is, we are Spira, and then when you ask a question to the Butler knows which of the three agents behind the scenes will be activated in order to do the work. And so the second one is we're kind of calling it, it's the parallel of KOL, right? Going to find people in your niche or your topic, whatever topic. I guess the input would be, someone that's ever like an influencer or someone that's ever written about topic A. In Web2, it might be recruiting with agents or AI agents, right? If you're an HR focused person, recruiter. In Web3, it could be whatever token and area that you're going after, let's call it. But you put that in, and then the way that it's different from how you would do KOL and influencer marketing today is that it goes off and looks at Google and pulls off, the top 100 people or web pages that someone has written about what you're interested in, pulls it off, and then we use the LLMs to analyze each one for opportunity. Do they collaborate with people? Yes, no. Are they active? How strong is the site? Are there other, and it whittles down that list to something that you will have a very high probability of being able to work with, and then sends that list. The Butler will return that list to you. And then, as someone who's launching a product or marketing their business, they have a very good starting point to go find people that can help get the word out, or whose audiences would care about what you do. And so that's what, and this is our, I would say, most mature. We've been using this particular agent for most of the year, actually. So that one we're doing on the inside, we have, 10 different variations of this. So we had to make a generic version of this. We're going to put it out there. We're going to see how people use it, and keep evolving it as we go. The third one is it's rooted in an industry called conversion rate optimization, which is, it's kind of like GEO and all these acronyms, right? But the simple way to explain it is, if I have a web page that's explaining a product, and then the goal is to either get them to buy it or to sign up or to be on a wait list, it analyzes it inputs our massive playbook on this topic, and then it goes through a sequence of checks to say, are you following best practices? Takes all of those checks and comes back with, several ways, the top ways to improve your page in order to explain yourself better, and in order to encourage more people to buy or sign up. And so we do that practice on all of our clients anyway, because if you do that well, all of the marketing performs better. And if you do it poorly, people are going to think they're in the wrong place and leave. And so we've agents are really good at taking context from our playbook and then analyzing a page and then displaying the recommendations in a way that we would as an agency. So so that tool is pretty cool as well. That one's also a technical challenge because the amount of information we put in on the way into the agent each time. So that one's been fun yet challenging to build.
Do we see that one delayed a little bit because it's a little harder, or is that
we're it might delay a little, but not too bad. No, not too much.
Do you ultimately have multiple agents that are live in ACP, or is that all behind SPIRA? Right,
it's all behind SPIRA.
Okay, really cool.
And eventually there's a lot of other agents in the background that we're, once we get through the next sprint is going to be intake, analyze how these are being used, make adjustments, tune them up. And then the following sprint, we'll probably have another agent in there. I mean, there's some really, really cool tools coming out.
Okay, very cool. I guess for these different phases, and even have Web3 growth services as phase 2, it's like you can already see where Web3 companies, builders, whatever, going to use this, right out of the gate. But are each of these maybe going to be their own agent, or not necessarily?
So I mean, in a way, this is what Spiralytics does. A lot of these things here, and in one form or another, those are going to get implemented. It's whether I slice it into very granular agents versus one sitting on top that just runs through kind of the whole process. I haven't figured out the granularity part, but I think a lot of what will happen in the next 2 weeks will adjust the roadmap and how this is going to be rolled out for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the space is still trying to figure out if you have the one all-knowing agent, or if you have these agents that are broken down into specialties, and maybe the more granular they are, the better they perform, right? We'll see.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
It is fun though. All right, so the token cats asked a great question here. So again, guys, when projects are launching on virtuals, I think you guys all know, in case we have anybody who's not like a virtuals native here, it is a token that's launching here. Pre-sale opens up tomorrow, right? If you have all these points, you spend them here on a project launch, and you get to buy tokens at pre-sale. What is the token's utility here? What are people going to use the SPIRA token for?
I'll take that, Hudah.
Perfect.
So I guess there are 3 things that tokens tend to represent in Web3. You're either a culture coin, you're a utility coin, or you're a value accrual coin. On the culture side, a token is often the best form of marketing in Web3. Take note, Spiralytics is not a native Web3 brand. Jimmy has created a lot of reputation and has had a lot of success in Web2. But entering the virtuals ecosystem allows him entry into a $4 trillion market, which is really crypto, right? The total value of all cryptocurrencies combined is actually larger than the GDP of all of Southeast Asia, and just as large as Japan, which is, I think, one of the reasons why Jimmy was quite interested in this space. It's a market he can expand to, and it's winning market share from an empty space, because most agencies in Web3 tend to go the KOL community marketing route. He's going the performance marketing route through an agent. So the token is a very strong culture/form of marketing. That's on one end. On the second end, the token is also a value accrual asset, because a portion of the net revenue Agent SPIRA is able to generate from Web3 will be recompounded back into the token through a buyback mechanism. And then from a utility standpoint, there's a bunch of utility from things like across the roadmap of Agent SPIRA will be to unlock premium tools, access deeper insights, but ultimately it's really an incentive mechanism as we collaborate with different dApps and protocols to use Agent SPIRA. In the same way that if you were a direct-to-consumer, you were an e-commerce site, you would use some form of an incentive mechanism or clawback mechanism in the Web2 space that you can do with your revenue Jimmy is going to do that with the token. So really, all three levers for what tokens have historically been used for in Web3, uh, Agent Spira has a use case for all three.
Man, I like it a lot. So is access to Agent Spira, I know it's going to be like, on virtuals we can access through the Butler agent. Is it going to be on that Spira agent website? And if so, is it token gated for just in general?
That will probably be the starting point. I think the commitment and the initial market will really be Web3 for that agent. And then in time, there will be a console on the Agent Spira website also for Web2. You'll also see it in the Spiralytics website. So everything will be abstracted away, that line between Web2 and Web3. It will ultimately just be the customer, right? So, but the starting point really for the agentic version of Spiralytics will be through virtuals, through Butler, and the token unlocking a whole bunch of other capabilities moving forward.
Yeah, I dig it. Are there thoughts already of even expanding beyond virtuals, right? Because you hear teams that are doing this now. It's like, great, we got ACP and we got Butler and we'll serve it up that way too. But also we want to just expand, as quickly as possible, get this agent in everybody's hands. And like personally, I want to bring everybody back to virtuals, but I do hear people like pushing as many directions as possible. Do you guys have thoughts, plans for that already?
Virtuals has thousands of agents in its ecosystem. Each and every single one is a potential customer. So it's a very good starting point. But we also have, from an Eden standpoint, relationships with other projects, be it games, be it DeFi, be it real world assets across these other projects. Once they see the use cases for Agent Spira and virtuals, it becomes a much easier dialogue that we understand, or that Jimmy understands the Web3 space. And his knowledge isn't just limited to Web2 e-commerce or direct to consumer. So it's really a springboard.
Man, real cool. All right. So when you launch, I asked this question already, and I know you answered it, and I think I half like retained it. But like when it's launching, and I'm using it, what is it I'm going to do right out of the gates? Like, what will it look like when I use it? I'm going to do the SEO optimization kind of task that goes live right away, right? And by right away, like right at TGE, essentially right around there.
The target is pretty much within 24 hours after TGE. You can start querying Agent Spira through Butler.
Okay, great. Do you have any costs in mind for that? What will it cost for people to query the agent?
$5 to $10, depending on which of the three agents are asked.
Okay, very cool. And you mentioned like there's maybe other tools out there that do this, maybe not, but the ones that you do that are close to doing what this does, what do they charge? Because you mentioned they're very expensive right now.
$500 to $1,000.
Damn. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and and those are Web2 SaaS tools, so you're on a subscription for that. So
yeah, it feels like this is something I don't really have access to. I wouldn't even know where to start. It's one of those things I do love about Butler is I can just ask it, right? I can just ask it where to start, and the fact that it's a service it'll recommend is like, again, I wouldn't even know before, and I wouldn't have the $500 or $1,000 to spend on it. So, again, that's pretty groundbreaking to me that you make this accessible to everybody here. Guys, in the chat too, any questions you have? We have just a couple more minutes, so any questions you guys have for this team, drop it in those chats. And then Eden and Jimmy, anything that we didn't hit that you just want to make sure people know before we start wrapping up here? Oh, and I do want to ask just general roadmap and time frame. So we know you're going live right away with some of the products. What do you see, like, I don't know, 3-6 months out? And then what does this look like in a much more mature form, like, a year or two down the road?
Yeah, great question. I think we're going to create the thing that's interesting to me is like you saw the Nano Banana launch last week from Google. Image generation has just leveled up, and for ad creation and content creation workflows, things just got very interesting. And so that may have juggled the roadmap a bit because we're starting to use that heavily in Spiralytics. So creating a social post with an image, creating an ad with an image, creating an ad with VO3, which is the video tool from Gemini, which is also excellent. Creating those types of things off of a prompt is becoming reliable. Earlier this year, when you try to create these things, you often don't get what you're looking for. And even on iterations, you don't get what you're looking for. It's right now you can get, if you're not close, you can iterate and edit and get there very quickly. So those kind of use cases, we think we can get a lot closer for what people are looking for on the first, they call it a one-shot prompt, right? So very interesting. We want to expand out, make other pieces of marketing workflows easier. Things, that like you don't have to be deep in the weeds of the technical side of marketing, which is what we've been doing for forever. Just all of that stuff's going to be automated, but it's going to be more and more tools to get the marketing job done that are inaccessible to most marketers at this point. So
I like that a lot. By the way, that you're going to create the marketing materials, which may be what you're already doing at Spiralytics. Do you already do that? Just it's more manual?
Yeah, we have a creative team, and then the strategy team that knows how to get results works with them. The creative elicits a response, grab someone's attention in a social feed, but then the copy has to be delivering a message within a second to explain why I care about it. Those, and just merging all of that in the best practices. That's a skill set. That's something that if you're building a product that has nothing to do with marketing, it takes forever to learn and get good at that. And I guess this theme, when you hire an agency, agencies tend to gravitate towards enterprise, tends to, service big companies because it's higher revenue, higher margin, but, and which excludes the smaller startups and smaller projects from having that level of knowledge and experience. What these agents can do, and you saw it, like imagine using, the LLM visibility for $5 instead of 1,000. Give me my answer for my one product that I'm starting. Give me, 50 things to go get more visibility and awareness, and just let me get on my day of making my product better. It gives access for the long tail of smaller companies, smaller projects, so that they can have the same, things that a really large, sophisticated agency has. So I think that's really exciting and going to open up these types of marketing workflows to more and more people. Instead of 500 clients, I can help 5 million people.
Exactly. No, Jimmy, like, again, it's exactly that. It's what gets me very excited about a project like this. I always think about, will I use it? Can I use it? Like, is it something I've wanted a solution for, like, in the past? And this is like, yes, like across the board. Like I'm a content creator. That's what I do. And a one-man show, right? So any of the graphics and creatives and marketing and whatever, it ain't great because I need help because it's a one-man show. And I even learned this week, there's a content creator out there I love a lot, and he's, phenomenal freaking work. But I saw him tweet out he has a team of 20 people. I'm like, man, okay, like it makes sense how he's able to get so far ahead because he has so many more resources. This is the kind of thing that will, I really do believe it, help me like catch up, levels the playing field, gives these independent content creators a shot. And as you guys know, I mean, more than content creators, that's just me applying it to what I do. But this is kind of for anybody and everybody that's building a project in Web3. I'm just focusing on what I do here. I love it, dude. I love it. And I can't wait to use it. And I mean, we'll get to see live how well it works. And I think it's going to work well, but I want to use it and see if we can grow what I'm doing. It'll be a great use case there. Man, it's awesome. Any final words, thoughts from you guys?
On my end, I've known Jimmy for about a dozen years. I mean, even pre him setting up Spiralytics. Just to shill him a bit, he has a master's of engineering in Stanford, and is probably one of the really smartest guys in the space. And unlike most marketers that are are very right-brained, fully driven by creatives, the big idea. Jimmy is a relentless optimizer. His e-commerce companies, SaaS companies use Spiralytics because their cost to acquire $100 in revenue, they want to keep on bringing that down, right? If it used to cost you $20, he's going to bring it down to $10, to $9, to $8. For him to put that into an autonomous agent, that same skill set and the body of knowledge that he's built across all of the data, across all of his clients the last dozen years, I think that's very exciting. And then you price it at a price point that's 1% versus what else is out there, then you're able to hit a completely new demographic of user, which is the solopreneur, right? The creator, the wedding photographer, the guy who works at Upwork, right? Does jobs for Upwork, Fiverr, 99designs.com. Suddenly you empower them with a full agency via an agent. At that price point, I think it's a very exciting combination.
Dude, great stuff. Great stuff. I'm excited for this. Get those points ready, guys. Get ready for that TGE tomorrow. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, 24 hours from now. Exactly 24 hours from now it starts.
There we are. Dude, start
just
the countdown.
crossed.
Going, but yeah,
just crossed.
It's going to be a good one too. I just know, by the way, that people are really looking forward to this. And again, different kind of product. It's much more matured. I freaking love it. We'll keep you guys updated here as far as what the project is doing and how the launch went, all that stuff. And for you, Jimmy and Eden, open door always, right? You want to come back on with some major updates, come on the show anytime. Even if you want to pop in for a few minutes with a quick update, just like, again, open door, always welcome to come on here. And for you guys, follow the SPIRA agent on X. I'll drop it in the chat. Definitely keep up on this one. I think you're looking at one of those special ones. Doesn't come around super often. They will start coming around all the time, but this is one of those special ones that's here now. Jimmy, you can follow. I dropped that in the chat already. Follow Eden too. Cool dude. Cool freaking dude. And we see him around virtuals already, one of the VPN, virtual partner network dudes, like project, whatever you call, but you follow Eden. And again, I'll drop this in the chat, but get those points, put them to use. Guys, thank you for coming on. It was a blast.
Yeah, same here, Hudah. Thank you so much for making time and giving us an opportunity to share with the audience.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for entertaining me.
Oh, Jimmy. You're funny. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you back tomorrow with Mute Swap on tomorrow. Thursday, macro trade. When you put the AI in the name, I don't know what to say. Macro trader or micro trader Thursday. We got fun stuff. And then Cat's on Friday. We got fun stuff coming. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.